I didn't hear that. I don't know if y'all heard that, but anyway,
Yeah, I heard it.
welcome to the Up Zone. You did hear it. Wonderful.
Yes.
Welcome to the Up Zone, where understanding politics is made simple. We are your hosts. I am Tisha S. Waddell, former City Council representative for the third district in the city of Fayetteville. We have Mr. Elmer Floyd, former House representative for the 43rd district, current candidate for the 42nd district. Floyd, I still hear the feedback. You might still have something on. And then we have, of course, the illustrious former county commissioner, Charles Evans. Also, yeah, somebody's got something planned because I hear me real clear. Also, a candidate formerly for mayor of the city of Fayetteville, and who I hope that we will see on the ballot again, but I won't even get into that. I'm just gonna say that I hope that we will see you on the ballot again. And actually a really great third chair for the Up Zone, who we've have enjoyed having you come on. So thank you for coming on today, Charles.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a joy and a pleasure to be with you always.
Absolutely. So now we're just going to jump right in and get into the gritty in the city and the word on the curb. Mr. Floyd, the election is in full swing. It is time for early voting. You were out there today. How many people? Did the floodgates open wide open and everybody ran out to see you today? Everybody voted.
The snail won the race today.
So I gather that there was not a huge turnout at the poll site today.
The snail won.
Mr. Floyd, why do you think that is?
I don't know. I mean, Commissioner, I never seen so many people just say I do not vote. That haven't
They
taken
they just
a
came
vote.
out and said that to you, Floyd.
Yeah, I do not vote.
Commissioner Evans, do you remember hearing that being at the polls? People
Oh
just
yes.
saying I don't vote.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And it's sad because we as individuals, the three of us as individuals, we do our best to encourage people to get out to vote. But what they're seeing is absolutely nothing being done for their communities, for themselves, or
And
anything
that
that,
is why.
and that is why they do not come out and vote. Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's sad.
I mean, they
Cause
were
took
telling
us to be perfectly honest. Go ahead, Floyd.
me that that my vote doesn't make a difference. I don't see any changes being made. Those that we elected after we elect them, they pick up another agenda. If you understand what I mean.
We were just talking about that in the prep now, and Commissioner Evans made a very valid point. He said that people need to really understand the point of you run in a district. Elaborate on that a little bit, Commissioner.
Well, what I was saying is, and which you two clearly understand, running in a district. Okay, let's take for example the Fayetteville City Council, which God had allowed me to serve. Um, on the Fayetteville City Council, everyone is elected by a district except for the mayor. Each person should feel obligated to work for the betterment of their district because those are the individuals that elect you.
Mm-hmm.
There are individuals that come from different zip codes that want to inform those of us that came from other zip codes that you are really working for the betterment of the city of Fayetteville in its totally together.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, first of all, I think that we all know that. I think so. But I also do believe, as I expressed with you all, and is that if you concentrate on making your district the very best district that the citizens that elected you want it to be, after you finish working with every district that there is for the city of Fayetteville, then you're going to have a better city of Fayetteville.
That's right. That's
Because
right.
everybody, and I don't know if y'all remember when I was running for mayor, my thing was the very first thing that I wanted to do is have a strategic planning meeting. Let's
That's
find
right.
out what each district want, and let's work to help each other get that done. So at the end of the term, we all can boast about what we have done for our respective committee, for our respective district, which which highlights and better the city
The
to
whole
get
city.
exactly,
The whole city. And
exactly.
forgive me, Commissioner Evans, because I did neglect to highlight your illustrious service. You did serve as a Fayetteville City Councilman for the second district. Additionally, you were elected at large on the county of commissioners, which meant that you ran in the whole county and were elected at large. And you have run for other seats since then. And I do not believe that your political career is over with. So thank you for reminding us that you did serve with the city council. Speaking of the city council, Floyd,
Yes.
um, what is going on with this? What's you know Commissioner, you made it very clear. I said if I'm elected, I want to have strategic planning with my council members to find out what is important to them. Did y'all, they went into strategic planning, and I have not heard anything of impact that has come out of that strategic planning.
No, no,
Nothing.
no, no, no.
And I'm
I haven't.
concerned, I'm really concerned that what we see right now is that there's some agenda that we're not aware of in the community that is the focal point. Because if you go into strategic planning and you cannot announce to your community, your citizens, one major initiative that you all collectively said this is important, and then your district can't even come back to you. I'm in District 3. My district representative has not come back to the community to say this is what I've indicated is important for our district. There's there's no real planning going on, and we can see that when we drill down and we start looking at some of the things that are already going on. Y'all, it's two major commentaries that are going on in the community right now. One of them being the Day Resource Center, the other one being this Office of Community Safety. They can't even get that. They can't even get those things. Floyd and Charles, I know y'all know what's up. Y'all talk about it because I'm so frustrated by it. Y'all talk about this and I'ma just jump in.
Well, Representative Floyd, I mean, I don't want to appear to be hogging up your podcast,
No, go
but
ahead. You are here.
but
You
as
it's
I
equal. Go ahead.
but as I had said earlier, this other entity that you're talking about that Councilman Benavente is pushing and well, like more fun about. I'm not thoroughly versed on that. I'm not understanding
Mm-hmm.
them. Now, if you
Well,
want to talk about today,
let me say this to you. You know, and teaching you both mentioned it while we was off the air. You know, I like to see things done based on data driven. Now, sometimes it's up to the council to sign a task to the city manager to come up with a workable program. Okay. Now, you also have the Human Relations Commission that one of their responsibility is to report to the council from time to time as it relates to racial issues. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so if they want it to be mental health or whatever they want to be included in that program, then those two persons, that means the city manager or the human relations director, will put together a program, data driven, so in that the council can consider it. Just like any other consultant. I mean, you trying to
But
solve a problem. Go
Mr.
on, Chief.
Floyd, that sounds good, but this is the thing. They literally, with this and with the Day Resource Center, they literally went somewhere else, saw the blueprint, and then came back and said, "We want to do that." If
That was
I
their
come to
option.
your
That was
house,
their
Floyd,
option, Chief. That was their option. I
no,
mean, they had the
but
option to do that.
that's what
They simply
that's
went to
what they
look at
were
it to review it.
selling. That's
Now
what they
they
were
went
selling.
to
And Mario keeps pointing back to that. And y'all know I'm not a Mario fan. So I'm never going to just like arbitrarily defend him against the rest of the council because that's my
I don't
homeboy,
think
because
that
that's
you
not.
should throw out 3 point. I don't think that when you already have a $12 million deficit, I don't think that you should throw out another $3
But
million
then
on
let that, but then
something that never
let
went
that be,
around.
then say that then. Instead of coming out to the community and saying, we don't have a plan, we don't understand what it's supposed to be, we don't have clarity. Stop saying that. You have absolute clarity because you went to another community, you saw their program, you said, we want to do this, you have a blueprint. Say we
You
don't
have a
have the
blueprint,
money.
but at
Stop
the same
saying
time,
that.
You went there simply to see it. That don't mean I have to adopt their plan, you, you know, word for word or
Floyd,
item by item.
but
I
you
mean,
got it. But it does mean we have a workable
that's
plan
not
and
the
we can tweak it
responsibility.
as we
That's not the
go.
responsibility of the council to
That's
design.
the city
They
manager's
give
job.
that. They give that to the city manager. Okay,
So where's the
it's
kink
just
in
like
the hose? Go ahead.
micromanaging.
Come on, Charles. I see you trying to jump in like double dutch. Come on.
But well, you know what? First of all, everybody that attended that meeting did not stay long enough to really find out the gist of what was going on with Wake County's homeless center. Secondly, the county had been when I and I don't want nobody to think that I'm trying to toot my own horn or anything of that nature. I am not trying to. I'm just trying to give you facts that I know that our citizens have not received. We had Senator DeVere got $1 million for a homeless shelter.
Mm-hmm.
The Board of Commissioners set aside $250,000 for a shelter. Being the good neighbors that we are, and know how homelessness affected the county to totally, we invited the city of Fayetteville, the largest municipality that we have in the county, to join us in this effort. The person representing the city council at the helm showed up a couple of times. They never ever wanted to partake with the county in making this happen. If
And
I'm
I
not
could never
mistaken,
understand that. I
uh,
could never that never made sense to me.
because and I can see why it didn't make sense to you, because we had the health department,
Exactly.
we had veteran services, we had
Exactly.
everything we had the hospital that was going to join in, we had everything that would needed to make the best
Can I ask you a
shelter.
question, Commissioner? Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
I mean, I hear all this that you were saying, but what you just mentioned, who was going to be in charge of this?
The
The
county.
county. But they
Well,
should
that's your
be.
answer then, isn't it?
But they
If
should
I'm
be. Do
not
y'all
in,
remember?
if I'm not in charge, Commissioner, you know, I just don't
Do y'all
think along
remember in
those lines. I want to be in
2017?
charge.
But you know what? That's
Okay,
so sad. That is so
very.
sad when we have individuals that are hurting because there are individuals that are like me that have been convicted of felonies that cannot get a place to stay
Cannot.
or
That's
get a
right.
job to help support themselves. So they're out there in the street doing the very best that they can. I don't see with some of that ARP funding, I don't see why, and you talk about homeless individuals, that monies wasn't set aside to create jobs for these individuals to go around and pick up trash or do whatever they need to be to make a penny to live from day to day. It doesn't make sense. But yet and still, we still elect these people over and over again. And that's why a lot, and the few people that are electing them are their buddies. Because when you really look at the total number of voters that come out to vote, it's hardly none. It's a drop in the
Hmm.
bucket. And it's sad because we do not give individuals a reason, a solid reason to come out and vote. We do not. And
Absolutely.
that's just like what you, Representative Floyd. You served over 12 years. We started this journey together. We started serving in elected capacity together. You served a number of years. You acquired a wealth of knowledge. You acquired a wealth of money, and all of this to bring to Cumberland County for the betterment of the citizens here. So what did they do to
Just
you?
to, they
They
sent them
they, they,
home.
they sent him home and sent
Yep.
somebody
But
that did
ask
not have
Kurt
a
what they
clue
do.
as to
What
what was
Kurt brought
going
in,
on.
Kurt brought in $412 million. What did they
And
do to
they
him?
sent him
They
home
sent him home
too.
too.
Yep. Yep.
They
Yep.
sent him home.
And listen, and we said this in just when we first started. We said, but we were serious, but we were jesting. We said that the very people that you would expect to support you are the ones who don't support you, who kind of put their hands up and say, you on your own with that. And the reality is the only people that suffer are those people. Do y'all remember in 2017 when and it happened when Goldie had his program on Good Morning Fayetteville, when Nat Robertson and Mayor Mitch Colvin were running against each other. He was Councilman Colvin at that time. Mayor Robertson and Councilman Colvin were running against each other. And Mayor Robinson went on air, and I heard him say it. I heard it with my own two ears. And when he said this, I said, people are going to grimace at what he is saying, but he telling the truth because of how he said it. It ruffled feathers. But he said, because he was asked about all of this, because this homelessness conversation has been going on for a long time.
Oh
So he
yeah.
was asked a question, and his response was, that's not the city's issue. That's the county's problem. And when he said it, I knew exactly what he meant. But I said,
Hmm.
because people don't understand the way government works, that's not going to play in his favor. But what he was saying is the city of Fayetteville does not get a budget for that. We don't have the budget for that. We don't have the support wraparound resources for that. The county, Cumberland County, that's in their wheelhouse. They receive designated dollars to address health and human services, and homelessness falls under health and human services. As all of this conversation has played out over the years, that has rung in my ears because, Charles, what you just said is absolutely accurate. The fact remains that the county is equipped to handle this. And we
Absolutely.
said this all along. There were voices saying this. But then you have, and I understand wanting to be involved. And so to say, let's make sure we come in partnership with you, and we stand and we offer our support to what you're doing is different than saying we need to do it. So when the city stood this homeless day center up, I knew it was going to be a problem because the conversations in committee were, well, how are we going to find the people to work in? Who's going to offer the services? Because
Now,
we didn't have that capacity.
but on the other hand, you said that the not you. I'm talking about the
Right.
council said that the different nonprofits will come in from day to day and feed the individuals. And I was
And that's
around
no
there about
stability.
lunchtime that day. I was there, and nobody was being fed. Everybody was laying on that table trying to get some shut eye. And it goes right back to what Representative Floyd had just said a few minutes ago. The problem is, who is going to get the credit for it? And
That's a
that's
shame.
and that's a shame. That's a
But that's
shame.
the same
Well,
thing. That's the
Commissioner,
same reason we have a
Commissioner
$30
T,
million. Go ahead.
Commissioner T. Now, I said this to Tish, about the call center. We,
That's what I was about to say.
we approved. I forgot the millions of dollars for the call center.
30 something million. Yeah.
We want to be in charge, and there's gonna be one fiber line connecting the two call centers.
And it was all
Okay,
about control. It
it's
was all
all about who's gonna
we
be in
let y'all
charge.
go out and build a whole call center, and y'all kept saying y'all can come over here with us. Y'all can
Hmm.
come over here with us. And the argument in our corner, in the city council's corner, was we don't want to let them be in charge because we have all of these different awards and designations that they don't have, and so we should be in control. Stupid.
Well, let me tell you something else. Speaking about who want to be in control and who wants to be in charge. When we finished that center, which was under my leadership as chairman, guess who wanted their name on top of it as chairperson? The same person
No.
every other year served as
No.
chairperson every other year.
No.
And see, and that's how ridiculous it is. That's how ridiculous it is. You're absolutely right. Everybody wants to be in charge instead of just getting the job done because it's nothing about them at all. It's
Well,
about the
Yeah.
citizens. It's
Commissioner,
about
I
the
got
Yeah.
citizens.
another one for you, Commissioner. I got another one for you. I know this here is February is Black History Month. I know that. And we worked on the issue in the black community some 10, 15 years ago. And that's reference a business located on Ramsey Street. Now it is coming back up again as it relates to that same black community that we protested because of the dust and the 24-hour operation. Now it's back again to the council that Miss Waddell sit on one time, as it relates to rezoning three pieces of property, you know, and that neighborhood, which is North Street Extension. Now, I didn't serve on the city council, so Ms. Wardell did. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
just trying to see just how would that actually
Admirably.
roll
Thank
out
you.
funding. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
how would it roll out? Would it be rezoned to create another environmental racism community like the county commissioner
Wait a minute, wait a
that
minute,
you
wait a
all?
minute, wait a minute. Hold up, Representative Flo. I think I missed something that you said. Did I hear the word racism in there somewhere?
Yes, sir.
Okay, say that part again because I missed it.
Environmental
Because that's
racism.
environmental racism all day
Environmental
long.
racism. Okay,
Okay.
okay, yeah. I'm gonna put a pin there. Go ahead.
Uh-huh.
Can
Yes,
I,
sir.
Mr. Floyd, can I add a word to that? Because I think sometimes we use the word racism, and I think sometimes we should also consider this word environmental classism. Because I
What?
think that it is a way of being able to hammer it to a class of people, whether they be black, white, purple, or green, because they don't have the money and the clout to be able to defend themselves. Because we talked about that too, about how these communities. Go ahead.
Well, you all, I mean, you was an ex-council person, and Commissioner Evans was a
So,
ex-commissioner. You know, I mean, I mean, and the county
Don't act
wants
like y'all don't act like y'all don't do
relationship.
this at the state level. Don't act like this don't happen
Now,
at the
why
state
not?
level,
You
Floyd.
didn't bring it up though. You all didn't bring it up. I mean, you didn't. You can bring it up at the state level because Sampson County is the garbage dump for the state. But
Right.
Commissioner Evans worked hard back in the early days to prevent all that dust. When people opened the house up, they weren't fanning the flies; they were fanning the dust.
well, let me share this, and we're gonna give credit where credit's due. Don't be putting commissioners out there like that. All, but let me tell you this. Representative Ford was out there too, and as I had stated earlier, whenever, and I hope he doesn't get mad with me saying this, and because I don't mean no harm by it, it's just the truth. It was three of us that decided that we were gonna run for office together. Representative Pierce, myself, and Representative Floyd. And all of us got elected. All of us got
Mm.
elected. Representative Floyd, we marched, and he could tell you, we marched up and down Ramsey Street in front of Fay Block, complaining about that sand that was being blown all through the community. Now, behind, and you all are familiar with North Street. It's a
Mhm.
black community back there. You also have the housing authority um, um, projects back there. And
Mhm.
you also have churches back there. You have a park
Mhm.
back there. You have all that. So we fought with those residents. We fought with those residents to make a
Mhm.
difference for the betterment of that community, and it happened. It happened.
Right.
They started covering the boat the
The sand pile.
thank you, the sand
Mhm.
piles and everything, watering it down, and it stopped for a while. And to hear Representative Floyd say that we're right back at that situation now. Okay, this is what's gonna concern me. I just mentioned to you, and Representative Floyd, no, Councilwoman Water. Look, that's a black poor community back there.
Absolutely.
That's a
It's near the
black poor
landfill.
community back there.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
If you looked at our city council lately, the majority of those people that's sitting on that city council that can
Look
make
like
a
us.
difference for the betterment of all communities happen to look like me. So you have a black led city council. And I would hate to break it up in race like that because it's not supposed to be racial. But you should care about your own because everybody that get elected to office, they care about their own. They may help
That's
the
human
others.
nature. Yeah, that's human nature.
That's
You're
human
supposed
nature.
to care
That's
about.
human
Yeah.
nature. And then
Yeah.
and see that's why it bothers me that we talk about Black History Month. We have people that have gone on before us that worked their butt off to deserve to be classified as part of Black history.
Mhm.
What happened? Because they worked for
Yeah.
the betterment of all of us. I mean, they
Yeah.
knew we were the ones that were being affected by the great change, but so was the other zip code as well. But
Mhm.
we don't have nobody to say. That's why people don't come out to vote.
That's
Especially
exactly
people
why.
from our zip codes. They don't come out to vote because they cannot put a finger on what it is that we have done to improve their quality of life.
And
Hmm.
Teach, let me go back and please don't lose your thought, Commissioner, because I want to get back to the county
I'm
board.
finished.
I also want to buy some land from the city council to expand the livelihood of the county landfill. They want
Right.
so that's in the same community. So
Hmm.
we have Fay Block Company. Uh, uh, the railroad. It's a funny thing. The railroad tracks divide these properties. The main railroad track divide the landfill.
Sound like your neck of the
Hmm.
woods of the Rocky Mountain area.
It is, sir.
On
Yes,
one
sir.
side
Now
of the
you
track
understand
versus
in
yeah.
Hitchcock County and Nash County.
Yes.
That railroad track divided. Now, Fay Block Company is on one side of the railroad track, and then once you cross the other little central track where Textify used to be, and they have, I think the soil is contaminated, so we appropriate money for it, and it's right over there by PWC water plant. So, so we're talking
Hmm.
about a community that had so much uh, what you might call we we have dust, and then we have
Yeah.
garbage, and then we have soil contamination.
And,
And you know where there's garbage, there's rats and roaches and all kind of stuff because they are living in those garbage piles.
Yeah,
and you know what,
Yeah.
Councilwoman Wanda, I don't know if you were here at the time, you probably were, but when we first had districts, Councilwoman Ida Ross was sitting on the city council at that time, and that was her war. That's the
Hmm.
battle that she fought. Her and the lady that ran the nursing home back there.
mhm,
I can't think of her name right now. She's since passed. Both of them since passed. But they
Hmm.
fought so hard to have and Representative Floyd, did you play a part of that with the Human Relations Department?
yeah, yeah.
And all those entities came
We was
together.
able.
Hmm.
What happened, Tish, as human relation now, they wanted to give those people on that North Street extension. I think at that time was $25,000 for their property. At that time, when the county was expanded at landfill, they had to move their buffer zone from buffer zone from 250 to 500 feet.
Hmm. Hmm.
But they wanted only to offer them 25,000. So we was able to increase that to 42,000 uh, there to assist them. What could they buy with $25,000?
Mhm.
Nothing.
You know, but
Miss
but
McDonald, that's her name. Miss
yeah,
McDonald.
yeah. You
Miss
see what I'm
McDonald,
saying?
that was her name. That owned
Human
the nursing
relations.
home back there.
Yeah. So we was able
Hmm.
to do that as human relation now. We was able to get a $17,500 increase. Now that wasn't that great, but it was sure better than $25,000 that they were offering them to buy a piece of property to increase that buffer zone. Now, if you go in that neighborhood now, it used to be houses. Now I think, Commissioner, they're down to about 15, maybe 15, less than 20 houses over there now. It was a
Yes, sir.
viable neighborhood. Now the other part where Fay Block Company is moving, one of our friends has a church over there.
Hmm.
Once out the door, he found he think he is climbing Mount Everest.
Mm.
Hmm. And just
You know,
put a brand new paid parking lot over there, and it looks so good around there. Worked
you
on
know.
that park over there for those young people. He worked extremely hard. But
Hmm.
we talk about Dr. McMillan, Reverend
Hmm.
Stephen McMillan, and
Yeah.
he worked very hard over there for the betterment
See, and
of that
that's
community. And see,
yeah.
and that's the thing that bothers me. Okay, and Representative Floyd and Councilwoman Wanda, I'm going to go another direction with this one too. Okay, I had the conversation with someone very dear to me, and I had the opportunity to go before the school board to talk
Hmm.
about the E. Smith School.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt in anyone's mind that grew up here in the city of Fayetteville or that moved here and been here for an extended period of time know that E.E. Smith needs to be rebuilt.
Absolutely.
The focus point of me speaking, there was two. One was about Stryker Park,
Golf course.
golf
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
course, but the other one was about the demise of our black neighborhoods when you
Yes, sir.
take these schools away from our communities.
Yes,
And I
sir.
named a list of them. Walker Spivey, Edward Evans, you had a couple others I named. I had them all written down. And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
every one of those places, every one of it, Washington Drive, Orange, is it Orange Street School?
Orange Street.
Orange Street
Yes,
School,
sir.
where they
Yes,
made it,
sir.
where E.E. Smith was at one time, and they were over at
Mm-hmm.
Washington Drive at one time. All these
Mm-hmm.
places have gone down,
You
have
suck the
gone,
lifeblood out. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And that's what's going to happen to Broadale, one of the most prominent black neighborhoods we have ever seen here in the city of Fayetteville and Cumberland County.
Yeah.
And guess who's leading that charge?
Black
One
folk.
of our Black History buddies.
Yeah. But see, and
And
that's
it's
why,
sad.
and with no plan for pumping revitalization back into the area, because like you said, there's no doubt it needs to be rebuilt. But
But
if you're going to move it, what's the plan for making sure you stabilize the community?
Exactly.
Commissioner,
Exactly.
Absolutely.
I fought so long to get Shaw Heights annexed into the city.
Oh, yes, she
Mm-hmm.
did.
Okay,
Yeah.
now
So
that,
when was it annexed?
huh?
So
Yesterday
when
of
was
never.
it annexed?
It's a donut hole. I,
The
I mean,
24th of never.
I mean, when that it can jumpstart economic development if it was placed in that area.
Right.
But
Because
guess what's
it's
going to
Right.
happen?
between
It's
two
going to
interchanges.
develop. It's going to develop though. And it's going to develop as an unincorporated area. And the city is not going to receive $1 of the taxes from it because it's going to develop. It's going to. Now, let me say this. I want to go back to what y'all were talking about the landfill, because I want to make mention of the fact that um, we have to also remember, because I don't know if we said this or not, and this is important. There was a school back there too.
Mm-hmm.
There was a school
Teresa
back
C.
there too.
Varian. T.C.
And
Varian.
that school, and those children those children and the staff had to be moved in the middle of their school year because of the deplorable conditions in that school. So as we're talking about all of this, and what I'm gonna use the term you used, Mr. Floyd, as we're talking about this environmental racism, it doesn't just disrupt the community where the homeowners are concerned. It disrupts the lives of everybody that is touched by this community, because those children had to be bused all the way out to Spring Lake in order to go to school. Thankfully, there was a school that could accommodate them. But, and this, I had never thought about this,
But
because
see,
sometimes from our places of, let me finish this, Floyd. Sometimes from our places of privilege, we forget about the discomforts that other people experience that don't have our privilege. I never thought about the fact, because I've always had a car. I didn't think about how it affected the mother who needed to get to her child, because maybe her child got sick, or maybe her child got in trouble, or maybe there was a teacher conference that she needed to go to, or maybe it was award ceremony day and she wanted to be there to see her baby get an award. But now, instead of her being able to just walk to the school, or being able to maybe potentially catch the bus to the school, she got to get a ride all the way out to Spring Lake to figure out how to go and see about her child. That's an inconvenience that is very disruptive. Go ahead,
But
and you
Floyd.
know why, T? And you know why?
Because
Because
we
our
don't.
community gives the least resistance.
Exactly.
but you
Our
know
community
what?
gives the
Go
least
ahead. I'm sorry.
resistance. Give the least resistance. Now, it was easy. Now, Commissioner, again, when have the school board did a pupil reassignment?
When the school board when what happened, sir?
Now, when
Reassignment
have
of
the
the
school
students.
board did pupil or student reassignment?
When have they done it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't
You
know.
see, that's one thing with Teresa Bird. See, sometimes you can do re reassignment. You always hear Wake County in the news about student reassignment. You know, I'm not saying we haven't done it, but I haven't heard a lot of discussion, about that. Now, the other thing, see, fast forward, coming right back.
Mm-hmm.
I was at a forum last Saturday, and Commissioner Evans was there, and they asked me would I support a $8 million school bond issue, and I said no because it should be more money than that. Given
Hmm.
the amount of money that it would take Cumberland County to be a Smith, and you talking about $8 billion, a drop in the bucket when you got 115 school districts. That's the mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Well,
that's the mind.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Huh?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, no. I mean, but our thing is to peace. If we fast forward, our community is easy to manipulate. That's why they do this to our community. They're easy to manipulate. But
Mm-hmm.
if they were not like Commissioner Evans just mentioned, that community where that mother put that child on her back, okay, that community
Mm-hmm.
they wouldn't
And
do
go
this.
out and everybody is protesting. They got their juice boxes and their strollers, and everybody is protesting.
Okay.
But see, that goes right back to what Councilwoman Waddell was saying. And she admitted she didn't think about the
Yeah.
lack of transportation that those individuals have. Let me tell you something. I was sitting right there at TC Berrien when the school board and county board of commissioners were there.
Yeah.
And they were talking to the student, I'm sorry, they were talking to the parents, trying to console them and keep them quiet about the move and the disruption that they were going to make of their community.
Mm-hmm.
They
Mm-hmm.
promised them, and I mentioned it the other night at the school board. They promised them if those children needed their parents to come out there to their school, that they will provide them transportation. And I made
Mm-hmm.
mention of it. I made light of it. I said, yeah, at one time there was a promise made to get these parents to these students if they needed to be there, but I don't know how far that went. That's exactly
Right.
what I said. And
Right.
see, but see, the thing that get me is, and please don't you all hold this against me because it infuriates me. Okay? When I ran for mayor, the first thing out of these people's mouth was that the reason I ran because some white
Was because
person
some
had
white
put me up to
person
run
put you
against the
up to
black
it.
mayor.
Yes.
And that was not
Yes.
the case. What the
Yes.
case is that we have all these elected black folks that are not doing nothing for our communities. Look who's at the helm of the school board. He's the one
Yes.
that's leading the drive to move that school East Fifth to spring to Fort Bragg, and he's making tons of money. He's
It's
making
very
tons of money.
unfortunate. It's just super unfortunate that people are not um they don't support the people who support them. And I think it's because maybe sometimes people don't want to recognize that they're worse off than they think they are. And so when somebody comes in and says this is not going well, or I don't know, maybe it's that culture of you don't you hide the dysfunction. I don't know what it is, but we certainly have got to break that. I'm gonna tell y'all what I observed that gave me a lot of hope and made me a little bit excited to watch the political process. I went to a board meeting in Spring Lake. Thank you for the invitation, Mr. Floyd. I went to a board meeting in Spring Lake. First of all, I want to say I loved the fact that they all seemed very relaxed. Nobody seemed they did not have any idea until the very end of the meeting because I'm not showy. So I just came in, sat in the back, and just watched the meeting. Nobody had any idea that former Councilwoman Waddell was sitting in the room. Okay. I'm just there. I'm listening. I'm observing. I'm watching how Mayor Anthony guided her meeting. She was so very courteous to all of the members of her board. She gave everybody an opportunity to speak and say their piece. She didn't interrupt anybody. She was not rude or condescending to any member of that board. It was refreshing. Everybody brought something to the table because first and foremost, they didn't come in there ill-informed about the topics at hand. I think from what I could tell, everybody had read their materials prior to coming in. The meeting was about an hour and a half. They had more stuff on their agenda than we had at some city council meetings, and they made it through their meeting in a fraction of the time that I've seen the city council make it through. Not only that, but they addressed some real serious stuff, some things that I've seen at the council level that was being discussed where it was like scratching chalkboard with fingernails listening to it. They talked about their solid waste and about how they were being fined. I didn't hear anybody release their residents from liability of having to do the right thing. They were all most of their votes, if not all of them, were unanimous. It was refreshing. What is going on in Spring Lake that is not happening anywhere else? What is up
That's why, Tish, once elected, I'm going to enjoy working with that board and bringing resources to that board.
to
I'm
Spring
going to
Lake?
enjoy. I'm going to enjoy working with Spring Lake because Spring Lake will be where, Commissioner, in District 42. So
Yes,
my
sir.
It is.
obligation would be for Spring Lake because it's in District 42. It won't be in a city council district. It will be in Spring Lake district. So I will give them all of my energy to help them rebuild and regain and get the resources that they need to continue to grow.
Well, I'm going to tell you, Floyd, they're doing a good job so far. I mean, when I watched, and we talked about this before, they've come out of what should have taken 6 or 7 years in a matter of about 3 years when it comes to their financial fiscal responsibility. They are making strides to be, and I go back to what was said about them. They're the dream team of politics right now in Cumberland County, and I was really proud to see that. I was very proud to see that, and not because of their blackness, not because of their how many women were on the board, but because of their efficiency and the fact that it really did appear that they were putting the needs of their community before their very own needs. I was just very refreshed by that.
And you know what? And if you all don't mind, give me just a minute here. First of all, I want to apologize for being so loud and upset
You
about
are
what I was
perfectly
talking.
okay.
Huh?
You are
Is
perfectly okay. We are
no,
passionate people on this podcast.
is that when you have people such as Representative Flores, such as Councilwoman Waddell, such as other individuals that care deeply about our community. And I'm one of
Yes.
those that care like you all about our community, especially the community where Black folks are, because we have
Hmm.
struggled for so many years to make sure that we had adequate representation that's going to take care of our communities.
Hmm.
And to see that it's not being happened, to see that people are being chosen to represent us in a manner that they cannot because they do not understand what's going on in our communities.
And they're not
It's a
listening.
shame.
Yeah, they're not listening.
And they're
Because you
not
don't have to
listening.
know everything. You just got to be willing to listen to the people tell you what they need.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
We have a superintendent, and I have the most respect for him. I
as
do.
do I. Yeah.
But we have a superintendent that's here from another county. This is his first time ever being a superintendent. This man has been honored as national superintendent, state superintendent of the year. He's received so many other accolades, and I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve it because the work that he puts in, he deserves.
Apparently, his colleagues across the state, you know, think that he is doing a marvelous job.
But I think that somebody needs to explain to him the history of our school system here in Cumberland County, here in the city of Fayetteville, from the time that we had integration, segregation to integration to where we are now. We have been through some traumatic changes here.
Mhm.
And E.E. Smith is like the anchor. It's like the anchor black school for us here in Cumberland County. Now you want to take it and send it.
Charles, do you feel like they should just tear it down, remove the debris, and rebuild in the same location?
I do.
Do
I
you
do.
think,
If
because I
if
think that
not
their
there,
argument is there's not enough space. So what do you say
okay,
to that?
that's what I was getting ready to say. If not there, somewhere where a community can thrive off the fact and that school is there.
Let me tell you something. Listen, check this out. So there, when I ran for office, I liked to be out and walk around because you can see more on your
Mhm.
feet than you can in your car. My best friend and I, because it was just us campaigning, me and my friend and my husband and our kids. We went out, and my mom and them. We went out and we were walking University Estates. I got a friend that stays over there. And as we were walking, we recognized that University Estates abuts to a lot of land.
Mm-hmm.
Like the back of University Estates touches a lot of land.
Right there was Old
And the
Shaw
first
Road.
and the first thing I said when they started talking about a new E.E. Smith, and I don't care how much it would cost them to buy the land, what an infusion into the University Estates community would it be to have a high school right there? It's closer for Fort Bragg. It's still in one of our historically black neighborhoods,
Mm-hmm.
and it's still within the knitting of the community. It's still in District 3 because right now E.E. Smith sits in District 3. It's still being District 3. I said, what a wonderful area to
And
put
you
that high
have
school
young
if they have
people
to
over
move.
there too.
Matisse,
You
let me
have
say
young
this,
people over
Charles.
there.
We have what we might call the Fayetteville Metropolitan Planning Organization.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that help us with the infrastructure of our community. About 4 or 5 years ago, I asked them to look at Shaw Road, Shaw Mill Road, and Rose Hill Road for expansion.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, I understand what you're saying, Keith, but those roads cannot handle an increase in traffic, and there's no plan from the Fayetteville Metropolitan Planning Organization to do any improvement on Rose Hill Road, North Shaw Road, North Shaw Mill Road. And
But
so,
Mr. Floyd, that land sits right off Murkison Road, so you wouldn't have to come.
but you still,
The
that's
reality.
still Shaw Road. That Shaw Road, which with Shaw Road or Shaw Mill Road, you still gonna have to do some improvement, and
Well, of
that's where
course,
they
but that would be a part of that plan. If they put a high school over there, those dollars will follow. Just like how you said, if they annex Shaw Heights, the dollars follow. But that's the problem. We're not big picture thinkers. Our
but what I'm saying
legislators are
though,
not big picture thinkers.
they're
And let me
not
tell you this.
Shaw
And
Road.
let, and let me tell you this. We had. This is where you talk about advocacy. We're in the middle of a race for governor and lieutenant governor. You have Josh Stein running for governor. You have the other young man, the African American that's running for
Right,
governor. And
right,
now is the time to be making those bids to them that
right.
look.
This is what we want. Right.
Exactly.
We will support you if you do this.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
Wait,
right.
wait,
That's
wait,
right.
wait, 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 wait a minute, y'all. Now, you got to have strong representatives to do what you just mentioned.
Yeah.
They have to be strong representatives who is willing to stand up for what the community needs, not what you Charles just mentioned, the commission just mentioned, what Josh Stein wants as the governor, or what Ben Clark as he is elected as governor. You
I've
are
seen
going.
two signs for Ben Clark. Is he still running, y'all?
Yeah. I
Oh, he
saw
got a bunch.
Okay.
a television ad last night.
Yeah, he
Okay.
got a bunch of them. But see, but we don't look at that. And just fast forward, coming right back. we can't even get to Raleigh unless we take what? 95, 40.
Right.
Okay. But now there was only 17 members on the bill that I stopped I-95 from being a toll road in the eastern part of North Carolina. You see, it takes vision, it takes planning, it takes thought, you know. Now,
Yeah.
to pass through North Carolina, it would have been between $14 and $20. Okay. And we can't even get the we our vision, we
Well,
can't
that's
even
because,
get
listen, it was political. Somebody said somebody got pissed off and they said, we'll never run that highway through there. So it's always about who's your friend and who you piss off. And at the end of the day, Floyd, that's the problem. Because it doesn't matter how mad you make me, I'm not going to penalize a community because I'm mad at the person that they
are
elected to
you in Cumberland
represent
County?
them.
I mean,
Yes.
you here in Cumberland County and Commission Davis, I'm picking at y'all there. I'm picking at you. Don't say you don't want to talk to me tomorrow.
You
We'll
good.
just
Go
hang
ahead.
up on
Bring
you.
you money. If people bring you money, you oust them.
Yeah,
You're one
Yeah.
of the
yeah.
poorest. You are one of the poorest counties. You are one.
Yeah.
You rank in the bottom 40, 80 in the bottom 40, and people that bring you. If Fayetteville, Cumberland County would have looked at the money that they would have gotten over the last 6 years, they would have had close to $1 billion of their money that they sent to Raleigh. They
Well,
sent
you
it
know
to
what,
Raleigh.
Representative Floyd?
Huh?
You know what? As a candidate, you got some work to do.
Absolutely.
I
You
don't mind
got some
working.
work to do because what we're talking about is not far fetched.
Mm-mm.
It can happen. We talked about the way to get to it earlier from advocating.
Well, see, that's the road. See, as a legislator, as a commissioner, and as a council person, you have one responsibility. That is to your constituents and resources. That's your role. I mean, we
Right.
elect you because we want you to serve in our absence. That's what we want you to do. And don't go there like your friend Dudu used to say to the commissioner. Don't sit in to fit in.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Okay.
You can't do that. You can't do
You
that.
cannot.
But Representative Floyd, I was not honest to God on my parents' grave. I didn't say that to be funny.
Mm-hmm.
I mean
Why you
that with
did it?
all sincerity. You got some work to do.
Absolutely.
What's the
Absolutely.
commissioner? You have to use. See, when you're not in charge, you have to do one thing, commissioner, is to negotiate. Okay, a tree that you walk by when a strong wind come along and it does not bend, you go back the next day, you pick it up off the ground.
Yeah, because it's them
Okay,
broke.
it's broke.
Let me say this. Let me say this because we about running out of time. Let me say I want to mention two more things that I thought were kind of funny, and I just want to see if y'all think they're funny too. I got like four or five. I got a phone call one day, Floyd, and I never brought this up to you, but I just read an article, so I'm gonna say it now. I got a phone call from what's the man name that ran for mayor with y'all, Charles?
Freddie.
Fresh.
De La Cruz. That's it. From De La Cruz. He sent me. He didn't call me. He sent me a message on Facebook and told me that his wife was actually running. Because if y'all remember, she announced that she wasn't gonna campaign.
Mhm.
He
Right.
said she was campaigning and she was actively involved and she had raised so much money and yada yada. And he wanted her to come on our podcast and he's gonna be her campaign manager. I simply asked him. I said, "Well, Freddie, aren't you running for the House seat?" And he said, "Yes, I'm running both of our campaigns." I said, "Well, you have your hands full." I said, "Reach out to us after the primary." So then he kept sending me these like her campaign materials, but she's not said anything, right? So I'm reading this article, and the article basically says that she I'm gonna read it to you directly. It says that she said, despite her announcement in January that she would not campaign, Venus de la Cruz said her husband Freddie has put up campaign signs at early voting sites to promote her. You can't tell Freddie no if he's determined. So when I read that, I laughed because Freddie's determined for her to win, but doesn't seem to be too invested in this. I think what she
Well,
said originally was exactly what she
well,
meant. That
see,
she didn't hear God tell her to do this.
I tell you what, Teach, I seen her sign, throughout the community, and I got
Right.
this letter. I got this letter right here from the city of Fayetteville that tells me that one of my signs is in the city right away. That I got 10 days to remove that sign,
To come get
and
your sign.
I hope, I hope they got the same letter that I
Yeah.
got because a lot of their
Yeah.
signs is in the city right away. Now,
Well,
Yeah.
the
I
code
just thought
enforcement
that was
officers,
funny.
the code enforcement officers, they just sent me
They
a
used to just
courtesy
take
letter.
them.
uh,
They just took mine.
Yeah.
well,
Yeah,
what
they
I'm just
used to just take them and take them to the garbage.
Yeah.
The second thing that I wanted to point out was that around the market house there has been a design that has been approved by the city council, and to many people's pleasant surprise and to some people's chagrin, the term Black Lives Do Matter and the end racism now are not included in those new plans, and so we will be seeing a revitalized market house, and we will also be seeing the removal of those words.
Well, they
number
were the wrong words anyway.
I don't disagree.
No. What I'm saying is they were words that Johnny Dawkins gave. That's not what was supposed
But
to
it
be
wasn't,
written.
if you remember, it was not just Johnny Dawkins. It was also Chris Davis who spoke out against it. And I will say this because when I was sitting there in the dais, and that's one vote. You know how they always
No,
say
no,
there's
no.
that
I'm
one
not talking
vote.
about speaking out against it. I'm talking about Johnny Dawkins said that Black lives do matter.
Do matter. That's what I'm saying. And Chris Davis spoke out against Black Lives Matter because there were many of us who felt like that movement was tainted and did not belong around the market house.
Hmm.
However, this was my position. I believe we should have never put anything around that market house.
But T,
Well, and I always said with the activities that are being said that have taken there with the selling of
Yes,
African Americans as slaves, apparently somebody knew Black Lives Matter.
what
absolutely.
that
And
commission,
that should be a place of reverence and honor and not a place of revelry and yeah, it should be a place,
what did
because if that is the case, it is a respectable and it's an honorable place because we know what that sacrifice is. We
but in
understand that
order
because
to
we've
get
been taught that.
Commissioner Evans mentioned it, but in order to get Johnny Dawkins support, okay,
Mhm.
Johnny Dawkins inserted do.
No, but see, this is the thing. You guys are I'm telling you how this went down. I know
I mean,
you
I'm
guys
not
think it
down
was
with do,
Johnny Dawkins.
but do
Yeah,
is in.
Johnny was the verbalizer, but Johnny was not the only person who did not want to put Black Lives Matter around that market house
I mean,
because
I understand all that, but what I'm saying
right.
is Johnny used his skill, and Johnny was a very skillful council person. He know how
Mhm.
to manipulate the council to get some of his things that he wanted. He was
Well,
very
I'm gonna tell
skillful.
you this.
But I guess the question I'm asking is it manipulation if you're in agreement? Because I think manipulation means that you're used to bring about somebody else's intended outcome.
Well, you got to keep in mind, Councilman Davis was also in a very integrated community.
Right. Well, I was in District 3. I was in a very what we call a very black district, and I was very verbal about the fact that I felt like the Black Lives Matter movement was very dangerous for our community because it was very it was not what people thought it was. I think in theory it was great. Yeah, Black Lives Matter, absolutely. But I think behind the scenes, and we saw years later a lot of the things that came out that really showed and painted the picture of what was happening behind that organization. I'll say this and then I'll be finished and I'm going to let y'all give y'all closing words. I believe again, and I'll say it and I mean it, that that market house should be a place of reverence. Anytime you have a place where men and women were treated like chattel, particularly our brothers and sisters, where this was big business, there should be honor given to the lives of those people and the families that were disrupted as a part of that trade, that slave trade. It should not be something that should be taken lightly. And so I hope that as they go about this renovation, that there's some honor that's given to every one of the men and women who was devalued at that place and treated like they were less than anything other than a woman or a man who deserved to live a free life.
And on that note,
Yes,
I
sir.
understand exactly what you said. And there should be some honor and some reverence and tributes that are made. And those tributes should come from those individuals that look like you and I, that people have died and worked their tails off. They got
That's
dogs
right.
set on them, fire hose put on them for better lives for black folks in this country today. And the black folk and a lot of the black folks that we have that serves and represent us, I think clearly have forgotten.
Yeah, they want to be like our oppressor.
And that's not
And
cool.
that's that. Floyd, what you got?
I'm on the ballot. I'm asking you all. I'm asking you all to vote for me. If you want
I know that's
experience,
right.
if you want experience, if you want Amazon, I'm your Amazon. I'm your prime time. I will deliver.
But you know what, Mr. Flo, I really would like to hear what you have to say about that, though.
What part?
About the reference about the Black Lives Matter and all of that. I would like to hear what you have to say about that. Because no, the reason because you were one of those people that fought for those rights that we have, and I know
Hmm.
that. You one of those people that select and worked every day for years in the human
In the human
relations
relations,
department
that's
to
right.
make sure
That's
that
right.
we as black folks were treated with dignity and
And
respect here
respect.
in Fayetteville. And so I'm just
That's
curious
right.
to hear. I mean, we can talk about it later, but I'm just curious to hear what you have to say about that.
I'm gonna let Tish, close that out with her comments because I'm gonna second.
Well, I
That
If
appreciate
she said
that.
she was closing it
That's
out,
that's
I'm gonna second.
that's very rare. Listen, it's
I
very
got
rare
you.
to get a
I didn't
second
mean
from
no
Elmer
harm.
Floyd.
Yeah, I'm gonna second that motion so it can move forward.
He got
Okay.
frozen. He'll come back. That is so rare
Okay.
though for you to second my motion. I hate that
Yeah.
Charles's screen froze. I hope that he comes back into our virtual world with us before we close out completely. But I want to say that it's always a pleasure to sit with you, Mr. Floyd, and I'm so glad that Charles sat with us also. It is such a joy to sit with him and to share this platform with him. I think that he brings such an insightful perspective to the conversations that we're having. Oh, he fell off. It is my hope that in all of this that Charles will come back again because I like having him with us as third chair from time to time. And Mr. Floyd, I also hope that people will for sure I hope that they will come out if they really desire to be a part of what is going on in terms of the political landscape. I hope that they will come out and that they will cast a ballot and that they will mark a
I
name
would,
on that ballot.
you know, what I wish, Tish, is that this community will tell Raleigh that we are tired of you coming in our community telling us
Mm-hmm.
who you want be who we want you to send to Raleigh, if you understand what I
Right.
mean. That we
Right.
need to stand
Absolutely.
up and say we can elect our own candidates and send them to Raleigh, not who you want.
Absolutely.
And I just
Absolutely.
I just pray that our community will come to grip, as Dudu would say, stop being pimp, Floyd.
Yeah.
Dudu will always say
Yeah.
that. Just stop being pimp.
Yeah.
That's what I hope.
Absolutely. And I hope that Charles is formulating a plan for a future run because I would like to see him back in the political arena. I think that you gentlemen are both very concerned about the well being of this community. Mr. Floyd, most certainly. Hey, welcome back, buddy.
Hey,
Mr.
I'm sorry,
Floyd,
my
most
phone died. I was like, they
that's
done
all
hung
right.
up on me.
Look, and that's what I said. He better know we didn't hang up on him. But Floyd, I want to be very clear in saying that I believe that for both you and for Mr. Evans, you guys are definitely concerned about the well-being of our community, and you guys do care about the people that you represent, and that is something that we vitally need in this hour. I also believe that you guys do love, and I always have to make this known at the end of our podcast, that above all else, I believe that it is super important for people to have a relationship with Jesus Christ as their Savior. Because if you don't, none of the rest of this really matters anyway. I think that's what makes the difference also in the way you gentlemen serve, is that you know that you serve somebody greater than yourselves, which helps you to reduce yourself and serve the people that he loves. And he loves his creation. And when you know that our Father loves his creation, it is your pleasure to do right by his creation. So thank you both for the time that you shared with us today. Thank you for your perspectives. Charles, don't be surprised if you get an invitation to come and sit with us again soon, because I'm going to ask
Oh,
Floyd if
I
we can
wouldn't
invite you
be,
back soon.
and I will be honored, but I want to say this, if you would allow me. Just
For
I thank
sure.
both
You
of
got the
you for
closing words.
your
Go ahead.
I thank both of you for your commitment to our community and to a better life for everybody in which you served and which you serve. Representative Floyd, he has always been one to give me sound advice about issues and about concerns that are affecting our community. That's why it was important for me to say, I really want to hear what you have to say, because I hear it all the
Absolutely.
time about his concern and his passion for our community. And I know this man. This man will work hard for you, for me, for everyone under the sound of his voice. He has always done that. And so I appreciate him. I tell you what, you talk about the Lord. I got a text from Representative Floyd, and he shared a scripture with me. I said, let me read this one again. And he sent me a scripture. I wish I could quote it to you, but it meant the world to me. I had to call him. I had to
Yeah.
call him and ask him to please explain to me his thought process. Why would he send that to me? And it made
Hmm.
so much sense. It made so much sense. And so, yes, all three of us do believe in a power greater than ourselves, who we call God. And I'm so grateful to be associated with you, because each of us know how awesome our God is. And
Absolutely.
that's what propel us to serve, because we want so much to be Christ-like. And the only way we
Absolutely.
can be Christ-like is to treat our brothers and sisters the way that God treat us. And so I'm thankful
Absolutely.
to know you. I'm glad y'all kind of like me, but and I'm thankful for the service that you all give. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Hey, and that's the gritty in the city and the word on the curb. Make sure you tune in next week and tell a friend to tell a friend. Like, share, subscribe, and follow. And listen, we'll catch you next week.